You weren't supposed to do that. Polina's hands gripped the steering wheel, white-knuckled. Her boyfriend's voice echoed with panic. A second ago, everything was fine. A shortcut on the way home, a heated argument about work, and then, the woman. The woman who stepped out of nowhere. The woman now lying motionless on the road behind them. I didn't see her, Polina whispered, her heart racing. I didn't mean to. You want to go to prison? Get in the car. Now. But I hit her. I can't just leave her. Then what? Wait for the police to drag you off in cuffs. Polina froze. Every instinct told her to help. To stay. But her boyfriend, calm, confident, always in control, had already dialed emergency services. And he had a story. I'll tell them I saw it happen, he said. A hit and run. I won't mention you. Just trust me. Still shaking, Polina slid back into the car. The tires rolled forward. Her eyes stared into the rearview mirror, unable to look away from the body lying behind them. That night, she didn't sleep. The woman's face, pale, lifeless, haunted her every blink. The sound of impact. The sudden silence. It replayed over and over. By morning, she couldn't take it anymore. Polina came to me. I didn't mean to hurt her, she said, her voice cracking. But I did. And now I can't eat. I can't sleep. Please, is she alive? I asked for a name. All I know is her first initial, G. I held her hand. There is a woman named Polina in the hospital. But she's not alone. I don't feel death next to her. She's still here. Still fighting. Polina's eyes brimmed with tears. Will she survive? Yes, I said. But the real danger isn't hers anymore. It's yours. She blinked. What do you mean? You were arguing in the car, weren't you? No, she said quickly. I mean, not really. I was yelling on the phone earlier. But not with Kirill. I nodded. That's when it happened. You were distracted. Emotions spilled onto the road. Conflict doesn't belong behind the wheel. It invites disaster. And if you don't take responsibility, that disaster won't stop here. Polina looked down. So I should go to the police? Yes, I said firmly. Confess. Clean your soul. Or the guilt will chase you longer than the law ever could. But she didn't. Polina was too scared. Too in love. And Kirill, ever calm, promised to handle everything. She's still in the ICU, he told her that night. But I talked to the doctors. They need money. I'll take care of it. With what? I'll borrow from friends. Sell what I need to. I'm not letting you go to jail. She felt overwhelmed with gratitude. The way he shielded her, protected her. It felt like love in its purest form. Polina gathered what savings she had and gave it to him. Within days, Kirill told her Polina was out of the ICU and recovering in a rehab center. See, he said. We're okay. It's all behind us now. And for a time, it was. Polina smiled again. Ate again. Even started sleeping through the night. You're too good to be real, she told him one evening. Before you, it was all heartbreak and cheaters. But you saved me. I love you, he said. More than anyone. She believed him. Until the day he came home shaken. They called me in for questioning, he said. What? I thought we were done. So did I. But the detective, he's sniffing around. Wants a bribe. A bribe. He knows something's off. He's looking for a payday. I'm tapped out. We'll need more cash. Polina hesitated. I already borrowed from my friend. Then we go to the bank, he said. Take a loan. It's the only way. So she did. Out of fear. Out of love. A few days later, Kirill told her it was handled. No more calls. No more questions. Polina was healing. Everything was fine again. Polina wanted to believe it. She needed to believe it. But somewhere deep inside, something felt off. And when love starts to feel like debt, the heart begins to doubt. Polina tried to shake the unease. She told herself it was just stress, that after what they'd been through, of course her nerves would be frayed. But the feeling wouldn't leave. Something about Kirill had changed. He still called her sunshine, still held her hand when they walked down the street. But he no longer lingered when they kissed. He no longer stayed the night as often. And when he did, he was always checking his phone, always slipping away to answer some urgent message from work. She tried to ignore it. Until the day she decided to surprise him. It was supposed to be romantic, an unannounced lunch visit to his workshop. She brought his favorite pastries, a coffee with no sugar, and the shy smile of a woman still deeply in love. But when she arrived, Kirill wasn't there. Instead, one of his co-workers was behind the desk. He looked surprised to see her. "Oh, hi. You're Polina, right?" "Yes." "Is Kirill around?" "No, he left early today. Said he had to check on family stuff." Polina frowned. "Family?" "Yeah. Something about a relative who was injured. He's been helping someone recover from surgery, I think." Polina's throat tightened. He meant Helena. But she was in a rehabilitation center, or at least that's what Kirill had said. So why was he handling it alone? She left the office without a word and called him immediately. No answer. No reply for hours. When he finally returned her call, his voice was calm. Too calm. "Hey, baby. Everything okay? I stopped by your shop today." A pause. "Oh. You weren't there." Another pause. Longer this time. "I had to run an errand. I heard something about a relative." "Yeah," he said quickly. "You know, Helena. I was checking in on her." "In a residential building?" He hesitated. "What? You weren't at any rehab center? You were seen entering a normal apartment complex." "Who told you that?" Polina's voice hardened. "I went there myself." A heavy silence fell between them. "I was trying to protect you," he said eventually. "By lying." "No. By keeping you away from danger." Polina hung up. She didn't sleep that night. She barely blinked. Her thoughts raced, heart thudded. And by morning, she had a decision. She returned to the building she'd seen him enter, waited outside, watched. And just after noon, she saw them. Kirill and Helena, walking side by side, laughing. Helena wasn't injured, wasn't limping, wasn't even leaning on a cane. She looked healthy, whole, alive. Polina's breath caught in her throat. Her legs trembled. She stepped out from behind the tree. "Kirill." He stopped in his tracks. Helena looked up, startled. "What is going on?" Polina demanded. "You said she was in rehab. You said she might not walk again." "Polina, wait." "No. You lied. You lied about everything." Helena stepped forward, cool and unbothered. "So, this is her?" Kirill looked cornered. "Polina, I was going to tell you." "When?" she hissed. "After I sold my jewelry, my coat. After I took out another loan." "Listen." "No. I believed you. I loved you." Helena scoffed. "Sweetheart, that's your first mistake." Polina turned to her. "You're a monster. You let me suffer while pretending to be a victim." "And you," Helena said, turning to Kirill. "Deal with her. Or I will." That night, Kirill came to Polina's door. She didn't want to see him. Didn't want to hear him. But when he begged, when he dropped to his knees outside her apartment in the rain, she opened the door. "I never meant for this to happen," he said. "You used me." "At first, yes. I admit it. We planned the accident. Helena stepped out when I gave her the cue. It was supposed to be harmless. Just scare you into paying. She faked the injury. I handled the bribes. But then, you fell for me. He nodded. I didn't expect it. I didn't plan it. But I did. I do. Polina backed away. You're disgusting. I want out. I want to be with you, for real. I'll cut ties with her. Please. Just give me a chance. Polina slammed the door. But her heart didn't follow. She sat on the floor for hours, staring into nothing, feeling everything. How could someone love a liar? And worse, how could someone still love him, even now? Days passed. Then a week. Kirill stayed away. But his shadow didn't. Every time the phone buzzed, she hoped it was him. And she hated herself for hoping. She returned to me. I did everything wrong, she said. I let love blind me. But now you see, I replied. So what will you do with that sight? Polina didn't answer. Because the truth she feared most was the one she hadn't faced yet. She still loved him. Even after everything. Even after the lies, the manipulation, the betrayal. And love was never meant to be a chain. That night, she tied the string I gave her around her wrist, placed a knot beneath her pillow, and whispered a wish into the dark. Let me dream the truth. And in her dream, she saw Kirill, not with Helena, not with her, but alone. In a cell. Handcuffed. Afraid. She woke in a cold sweat, tears on her cheeks. And she knew what she had to do. Polina didn't wait. The moment the sun rose, she sent a message. Meet me at the cafe on Listopad Street. 1 hour. No excuses. Kirill replied almost immediately. I'll be there. He arrived looking hopeful. Dressed a little too nicely. Smiling just a little too wide. As if he still thought there was a chance. Polina let him sit. Let him order coffee. Let him say, "You look beautiful." Then, calmly, she said, "This is our last meeting." His smile faltered. "Wait, what?" "I saw the truth. And I'm not ignoring it anymore. You said you loved me. I do. But I love myself more." He leaned forward. "Polina, listen." I did. I listened to your stories. Your lies. Your excuses. I watched you manipulate me, drain me, sell my guilt back to me like a product. He flinched. I'm not here to scream. Or cry. I'm here to give you a chance. He blinked. A chance. To come clean. To turn yourself in. You want to start fresh? Then do it properly. Kirill stared at her, stunned. I can't. Then we're done. He stood up, knocking over his coffee. Polina, you don't understand what she'll do, Helena. She has dirt on me. If I cross her. She already turned on you. What? She threatened me. Said if I didn't break up with you, she'd destroy you. Said she had proof of every con, every trick. Kirill's face went pale. I was never safe with either of you, Polina said. But at least I know that now. He sank back into the seat, defeated. I can't fix this, he whispered. No, she agreed. But you can stop it from getting worse. He didn't say yes. But he didn't say no. Polina left the cafe with her heart in pieces. But her spine straight. She didn't know if he would listen. She just knew she'd said what needed to be said. A week passed. She tried to move on, truly. She sold the car. Paid off part of the loan. Started walking to work instead of driving. It cleared her mind. Gave her space. But her nights remained heavy. She saw him in dreams. Not in chains, but in shadows. Half-lit versions of himself. Reaching for her. Fading before he could speak. Then came the call. From his co-worker. Polina. Did you hear? Hear what? They arrested Kirill. Yesterday. Her blood went cold. Why? Fraud. Extortion. A bunch of stuff. Someone gave them everything. Documents, audio recordings, bank transfers. Her heart thudded. He'd done it. He'd turned himself in. Later that night, she received a message. From an unknown number. You were right. I needed to pay for what I did. Thank you. For showing me who I could have been. I'll never forget you. No name. But she knew. Polina sat on her bed, phone in hand, and cried. Not just from grief. But from relief. She didn't have to carry it anymore. Still, it wasn't over. Because 2 days later, Polina showed up at her door. Well, well, she said, smiling as if they were old friends. Congratulations. You broke him. Polina didn't reply. Polina stepped closer. You think this is done? That I won't recover? Please. Kirill was a pawn. There are always more. You're disgusting, Polina said. And you're sentimental. That's your weakness. You ruined lives. I survive. That's what I do. I adapt. I find new marks. New stories. Kirill's fall? That's on you, sweetheart. You gave him hope. Polina didn't move. Didn't flinch. But later, once Polina left, she called the police. Gave them everything she knew. Not just about the scam. But the threats. The manipulation. The pattern. They said they'd look into it. She didn't expect much. But she'd done her part. Weeks passed. The city thawed into spring. Polina breathed easier. Smiled more. She returned to me one last time. Is it really over? She asked. I shook my head. Not over. But quieter. She nodded. I miss him, she said. Of course. I loved him. And you still do. That doesn't make you foolish. It makes you human. I just wish. Don't wish. Live. He's walking his road now. Walk yours. So she did. She went back to work full-time. Took on a few difficult clients. Rekindled old friendships. Stopped checking her phone every 5 minutes. She was healing. One afternoon, while crossing the park near her apartment, a child dropped a toy at her feet. A little plastic car. Polina picked it up, smiled, and handed it back. The boy's mother nodded in thanks. And for a moment, Polina saw herself, not who she had been, but who she might become. Stronger. Wiser. Free. 2 years passed. Time, as it often does, moved both fast and slow, smoothing some wounds, deepening others. Polina had changed. Not just in the quiet way people change after heartbreak, but in the way survivors do. With intention. With awareness. She no longer looked over her shoulder when walking home. She didn't jump at the sound of a knock on the door. The world felt safer, not because it was, but because she had learned how to protect her own peace. She had also changed cities. Took a new job in a different branch of the real estate company. Smaller, quieter, but more honest. People there called her dependable. Calm. Wise. She'd stopped speaking about Kirill. Not because she forgot him. But because she remembered too well. The trial had been quiet. No media attention. No family in the gallery. He had pled guilty. Kept his eyes low. Never looked for sympathy. Never tried to contact her again. Polina had sent a letter though. Just one. You gave me a version of love built on lies. And I gave you the chance to do something good before it all collapsed. I hope, wherever you are, you're finally being honest with yourself. She never got a reply. And that was fine. One evening, she came back to her apartment after a long day of showings. It was raining, not the dramatic, thunderous kind, but a soft, constant mist that made the streetlights look blurry and gold. There was a letter in her mailbox. No return address. Inside, a single photo. Kirill. Standing near a window. Wearing a loose grey shirt. In the background, prison bars. The photo looked old, worn at the corners. On the back, in handwriting she recognized immediately. Still trying to be better. Still thinking of you. No request. No return address. Just a trace of something once real. Polina didn't cry. She held the photo for a moment. Then slid it into a drawer and went to make tea. The next morning, she called her grandmother. "You were right," she said. "About what, my dear?" "All of it. The road. The knife. The curse. The love. The loss." Blind Madame Grace chuckled. "I'm only ever as right as the heart willing to listen. I listened too late. Better late than never." Polina paused. "Do you think some stories never really end?" "I think some just take longer to teach us their lessons." "Then what was the lesson?" There was a silence. Then, that love, even when it begins in falsehood, can still grow something real. But real things must be fed with truth, or they wither. Polina understood. She hung up with a soft smile. Life didn't have to be dramatic anymore. It didn't need accidents or villains or storms to prove it had changed. The proof was in her stillness, in the way she now welcomed silence instead of fearing it. One summer later, she walked past a small tech repair shop and froze. In the window, a familiar logo. Not the same one Kirill had once owned, but nearly identical. She stepped inside. Just for a second. A young man looked up from behind the counter. Not Kirill. Too young. Too tall. But wearing the same kind of apron. "Hi, can I help you?" he asked. She shook her head. "No. Sorry. Wrong place." But just as she turned, she heard a voice from the back. A voice that made her whole chest clench. "Hey, Dima, I need the..." Silence. Then footsteps. And then Kirill appeared in the doorway. Older. Thinner. Eyes a little tired, but kind. He stopped in his tracks. "Polina." She blinked. I didn't expect." She raised a hand. "It's okay." Dima looked between them, then disappeared into the back with silent efficiency. For a long moment, neither of them spoke. Then Kirill said, "You look good." "So do you. You cut your hair. You remembered." He stepped closer. "I never forgot anything." She swallowed. "I got your letter," she said. "I hoped you would. I didn't reply. I didn't deserve one." She studied him. "You really trying to live different now?" He nodded. "Took me long enough. But yes. Helena. Gone. I heard she fled the country." Polina raised her eyebrows. "She always did know how to vanish." They both laughed. Awkward, but real. "You want tea?" he asked. She hesitated. Then, "No. But thank you." He nodded. "Of course. I'm glad you're okay, Kirill." "You too, Polina." She turned to leave. Then paused. "You know," she said, "I used to think love was about grand gestures. Now I think it's about small choices. One after another. Every day." He smiled sadly. "I wasn't good at those. You're trying now. That matters." He nodded. Polina walked out into the sun, which had just broken through the clouds. She didn't look back. Some stories don't need second chapters. Some just need a clean ending. And hers finally had one.